Hi, this is Patrick with Falcon Sails. I'm going to give some video lessons on kayak sailing and show you an amazing day we had on the water. We were at the 20th annual South Bass Rendezvous and it was super windy. Normal people prefer to sail on days with a lot less wind, so most everybody stayed on shore. My friends and I love days like this. You can see Liam ahead of me. Liam is a college student that works in the Falcon Sail shop. I knew it was time to push him to the next level and he performed amazingly well. This kind of wind is perfect for giving video lessons on kayak sailing. The main thing I'm going to talk about is sail trim. The first thing I want you to know is these sail trim principles are the same in stiff winds like this and light winds, so these lessons are going to be good for everybody. I will start out with a video clip of me holding the camera and discussing sail trim. It's a little bit hectic and noisy, but useful for learning about sail trim. Then I'll go over sail trim while sitting at my desk in a more controlled environment. After that, I will just show you some video clips of us having fun, and I'll include some discussions that will be helpful to you learn about sailing as well.
Sunday, we're heading around Rattlesnake Island. Andy's back there, and we're cruising at about 5 miles an hour. Woo! Definitely not a beginner paddle sail. Definitely not, but serious fun. Once you're prepared, you work your way up to this and you're gonna have a lot of fun. Woo! Really leaning into it. I've got my sail a little tight on a sheet out a hair. All right, there we go. You can, oh, I just took off. There we go. Just saw a 6 on the GPS. Go. See, you can see my luff, a bubble in my luff. It means I'm a little loose on the sheet, which is fine when it's a big wind day like this, but ideal trim is where you just get rid of the bubble like that. All right, that's what you do. If you're uncomfortable or not in control, you want to slow down, let the sheet out and accept the bubble or the luff. And that's a little lesson on sail trim. All right, hopefully you can hear this. Another gust, and I want to sheet out a little. See, now I'm going to accept the bubble because I had a sheet or a gust. Maybe I'll. Usually you just set and forget the. Set and forget the sail trim typically, but sometimes you mess with it. If you want to squeeze maximum performance out, yeah, do that. Or you're uncomfortable or you see it's clearly not right, but usually you go on a course, you set it and you forget it. Okay, I'm gonna put this camera down. This is borderline crazy. 4851 47. All right, go. And my spray skirt's off. Ooh, nice wave. Okay. See you later.
Now that we are in a classroom environment, we can slow things down a bit. It was pretty crazy on the water. It was a big wind day there. Here is a screenshot of the sail with what I would call good sail trim. It is not too tight and it's not too loose. I put some of the concepts and words in writing that you can see on the screen. You may want to pause and read what I wrote as well. What does good sail trim give you? Good sail trim allows you to take full advantage of a quality sail's capability. You'll have maximum forward propulsion without unnecessary heeling force. Propulsion is what you're looking for in a sail. It makes you go forward. Heeling force is the force that makes you tip or pushes you sideways. It works against your efficiency. That's why you want to avoid it. Not because it's scary, but primarily because it will slow you down and harm your efficiency. How do you control your sail trim? 90% of your sail trim is controlled by the sheet line. The sheet line is the line that is attached to the boom that pulls the boom to the center line of the boat. You either let it out or you let it in. That's all there is to it. The general rule is when you're heading downwind, you let the boom out and the sail will catch the air. And when you're going upwind, the general rule is you pull the boom in and you make an airfoil that will give you upwind propulsion. But you don't really want to follow the rule of the wind's to my back, you let the boom out, there we go, or I'm going upwind, I pull the boom in. You want to look at the indicator of the sail, which is the bubble in the luff, that will tell you if the sail trim is good. In general, that will create a situation when you're running downwind, you'll let the boom out, and when you're going upwind, you'll pull the boom in. For now, that's all we need to talk about as far as lines go. There are other lines, but the sheet line is all you need to know for right now. Later on, we can look at the next most important lines, which would be the boom vang line, which is great for downwind runs, and the outhaul line. But 90% of your sail trim can be addressed with the sheet line, so just forget about the other lines for now as you're learning. And then later on, as you're refining things, you can talk about or think about the other lines that Falcon sails have to offer. But with the sheet line, 90% of all your trim issues can be addressed. The last 2 points I'll make on this screenshot is, number one, the biggest mistake I ever made with kayak sailing, and I did it for quite a while, was I did have the sheet line too tight. So if you're going to make a mistake, have it be too loose. Just don't make it too tight. And look at the luff, number one. And number two, you might want to pause this video and take a look at what I put in writing on this screenshot to just reinforce what I've said and also maybe cover some things that I missed as I'm talking here. All right, in this picture, it's showing what a sail looks like when it's just barely looser than ideal trim. It starts to reveal itself by the sail itself starting to quiver in the luff. I keep talking about the luff and the bubble in the luff, and either it's there or it's not, and there's a point in time where it just starts to show, and this is where it's starting to show. It's beginning to go from looking like a sail to looking like a flag, but in any case, this is where it's going to indicate your sail trim is good or almost good. You just pull the sheet line in a little bit and you'll feel some acceleration. One point I'll make is, if you're not comfortable with the amount of wind, don't get overly focused on perfect sail trim. Focus on your comfort level. And if you ease the sheet line out and accept the bubble, you're going to have a lot less heeling / tipping force. And that's great. So, don't get overwhelmed with sail trim. Sail trim's not your top priority. Your top priority is to feel comfortable on the water. So when you see this bubble, you're feeling comfortable, you want to get some speed, your maximum propulsion, ideal sail trim, you ease in the sheet line slowly, and when you do that, you'll feel some acceleration. This freeze frame shows what I would call a sail that is clearly not ideally trimmed. It's even looser, and the bubble in the luff, it's more than just quivering. It's just a huge bubble. It's definitely out of trim, and you're not going to have a whole lot of propulsion with this. One nice thing about this is, though, you won't have a lot of heeling force. So if you're sailing along, you're not comfortable, you can ease the sheet line out and have it in this state so you have less heeling force, which will make you more comfortable, and then you can kind of think about things, and then when you're ready to accelerate, ease the sheet line in slowly and gain your propulsion and go more for ideal sail trim. Pull it in just enough that you see the bubble disappear, and that's about it, no more, and you will have maximum propulsion and minimal excess heeling force. One other point I'll make at this time is sometimes easing the sheet line out to induce a non-ideal sail trim is what you want. We talked about how if you're not comfortable, you ease the sheet line out, or maybe you just want to slow down for whatever reason. Probably the most common thing I can think of is you're out kayak sailing and you're with your friends, they don't have a sail, they're behind you, you want to slow down for them, you can ease the sheet line out. I mean, what I prefer to do is just take longer lines. I'll go upwind, downwind, left, right, and go to different places. But easing the sheet line out is a very easy thing to do. Another thing you can do is release the forestay and drop your sail. That takes no time whatsoever, and that puts you into a no sail mode. You're paddling just like they are. So you can go from full sail power to as though you don't even have a sail, by releasing the forestay, which is nice also for if you happen to be uncomfortable, you can release your forestay. So you want to get good at that too, by the way. On a moderate wind day, it can't be easier. You release the forestay, the sail falls. As the wind increases, you have to be a little more careful, but as you are increasing your skills and you're going out in bigger winds, you want to always be putting your sail up and down, up and down. You want to make that so that you're always good at it at all the varying levels of wind you go out in, and you want to get practiced at it, and so that the better you are at it, the more things you'll feel comfortable doing, and the more things you feel comfortable doing, the more times you'll go out in the really fun and exciting stuff like I like to do. I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. You can go out in calm winds and make it a real easy going ride as well, but you can never be too good at sailing your kayak. So work on your skills. Well, here is a situation where the sheet line is even looser. It's basically completely out of trim. This is what a sail looks like that is not providing any propulsion whatsoever. And if you pull the sheet line in slowly, as I keep recommending, you can slowly work your way from this to a better sail trim that will provide a lot more propulsion and still not any unnecessary heeling / lateral / tipping force. In any case, with just a small adjustment, this sail could be providing a lot of propulsion. Once the bubble disappears, it is time to stop pulling the sheet line in. Adjusting the sheet line slowly will allow you to observe what is happening. Observing how your actions impact the sail will make you a better sailor. If you pull the sheet line in more than necessary to eliminate the bubble, you'll only reduce propulsion and increase heeling force for the worst of both worlds. Consider pausing the video so you can read on screen what I wrote about this particular sail trim situation. On the screen now, you'll see what a sail looks like in doing a dead downwind run. I wanted to talk about it for several things. Number one, just to talk about the generalities of sail trim when you're on a downwind run, and it's pretty simple. You let the sheet line out all the way. You're not going to see a bubble because the air is not going to get behind the sail, so you generally let it out as much as you can. As you get to be more advanced with kayak sailing, you're going to want to use the boom vang that we provide with your kit. The boom vang is very simple. It's a line that starts at a cleat at the cockpit, leads to the mast base, then goes up to the boom. And it's designed to only pull the boom down. That's all it does. It pulls the boom down and, of course, then pulls the sail down, which prevents the sail from lifting and dumping air when the wind's to your back. It prevents you from losing power. The boom vang is excellent for downwind runs if you want a more steady ride and more power. The boom vang really adds to your power. It's a great trimming tool. Without the boom vang, the boom will elevate and you'll dump air. And sometimes you actually want to do that to reduce your power. Say you want to slow down for some reason. It's handy for that. I'm going to go into detail to teach you more about this control line. Keep in mind, the boom vang line is completely optional, so you can ignore the boom vang and still have a great sail. It takes some experience to appreciate its value. You can lower your mast with the boom vang set, but you cannot fold the boom up to the mast if the boom vang line is set in its cleat. Having the line set in the cleat makes it so you cannot fold your sail on the deck of your kayak. This leads to some confusion and concern for some people, but it's really not an issue. You can always release the boom vang line from its cleat, but sometimes people forget. The boom vang, making it not possible to fold the boom to the mast, on occasion will add some minor confusion to the new kayak sailor. Since beginners tend to not appreciate the value of the boom vang line and sometimes get confused when it's time to lower their sail, we suggest a new kayak sailor consider not using the boom vang line until they have learned what its value is and have mastered the more basic sailing skills. If you pass on using the boom vang line, you are reducing your deck lines from 3 lines to 2 lines. This will give you the highly simplistic situation of only having a forestay line to raise the mast and a sheet line to adjust the boom. On the other hand, the boom vang is really simple. All you have to do is release the boom vang line from its cleat and this small issue is addressed. One other note to consider. If you're nervous and you want to lower your sail to take the sail 100% out of the picture, once you release the forestay line and the sail falls, your sail power issue is fully addressed. After the mast falls, you can sit back and relax for a bit, and then consider folding your sail. You can even ignore the sail and paddle miles or even all day long without folding it or securing the sail to your deck. It's perfectly fine to let the sail sit in the down position for as long as you like before you fold it up, so you can relax and address folding your sail later. Last but not least, if both the boom vang jam cleat and the mast forestay jam cleat are installed next to each other, you can release the forestay and the boom vang together as fast as you can put your hand up there to grab the lines. So you can make a habit of releasing both the forestay and the boom vang every time you lower the mast together. If you're armed with just a little bit of knowledge and practice, this beginning boom vang issue quickly becomes a non-issue. Until you get good at kayak sailing, you don't realize just how handy this line is. But when you do miss it, and you say, wow, my boom is elevating, I don't like this, it's dumping air, it's not as steady of a ride, you can go ahead and put the line on. As a matter of fact, you could put the cleat on, have it ready, and keep the line with you, and just put it on when you're ready. One day you'll just wake up and say, I want the boom vang, I understand what it's about now. Moving on from the boom vang, let's just talk about sailing downwind. In general, beginners love to do that because they buy a sail and they think, oh gee whiz, I'm going to go sailing, and they envision sailing downwind. Well, you can do that. You can sail downwind if you want to, but there's a number of reasons you don't want to do that. Number one, the best point of sail is going across the wind or even making a little bit of upwind progress. And that's what sailing is all about. I mean, you can put out a garbage bag and go downwind. I mean, the Falcon sail is going to do way better than a garbage bag going downwind. It's going to be a lot more powerful, a lot more steady, handle itself better in so many ways. But the best point of sail is going across the wind. So you want to practice that. I mean, you don't have to go across the wind or make upwind progress on your first time out. If you're just not getting it or there's not the right conditions for that, well, you know what? Don't worry about it. But don't just dive straight downwind. Work your way upwind. Make that part of your habit. If you're just out enjoying a sail, you want to go across the wind. You don't want to go downwind. You'll lose apparent wind when the wind's to your back. Say a 8-mile-an-hour wind is at your back and you're going 3 miles an hour. Well, that 8-mile-an-hour wind is going to feel like a 5-mile-an-hour wind. Your apparent wind goes down, and apparent wind is just like losing real wind. So it works against you. Unless there's a really big wind and you want to reduce it, it can be handy for that too, but you're not going to be out in a big wind as you're just learning how to sail. You shouldn't be anyways. The other point I'll make is if you go dead downwind, well, now you have to come back upwind. So that's not good. It's not the end of the world. If your destination is downwind, go downwind. But if you're just out for a sail, you're enjoying yourself, or you're trying to advance your skills, go across the wind. You'll have more fun. You'll have a better sail. You won't end up downwind, and you'll become a better sailor that way. One more point I'll make about the boom vang line. This is one of the lines you want to pull hard on if you can. If you are cruising along next to another kayaker, same weight, same kayak, same wind obviously, and you are the one that pulls your boom vang down harder, you will notice that you'll get some nice acceleration. That is on a downwind run because you'll catch more wind, you'll dump less air, and your sail will be more efficient. The boom vang is a really good line to have because it just makes a big difference in your sail's potential. All right, we're done talking about sailing downwind. We're going to be sailing across the wind. As you can see, where the waves are coming from, that tells you I'm raising my sail. I'm kind of fumbling around. I lift the mast with my left hand and then switch to my right hand, so my left hand was available to pull on the forestay line. The forestay is on the left side on this kayak, and the wind helped push the sail up, and you notice Liam ahead of me raised his sail real quick. He didn't fumble around like I did. I just happened to grab my mast tip with the wrong hand, but when you're handling cameras and everything, sometimes you get a little bit overwhelmed. So we're taking off, we're sailing across the wind. We were just talking about sailing downwind, and this is sailing across the wind, which is a lot more enjoyable because we're not losing our apparent wind. We're not slowing our wind situation, or, well, the apparent wind is not going down. So here we go. Now, in just a future clip, we're going to show you Liam raising his sail. He gets it up right away, doesn't make a mistake, and I'll mention a couple things about raising the sail while I'm here. All you have to do is lift the mast tip and then pull the sail up with the forestay line and then set it in the cleat. That's all you have to do. One thing you want to keep in mind, it's a good idea to have a loose sheet line so you don't get full power right when you raise your sail, especially when the wind's coming from the side. So here's Liam, and he's going to go ahead and raise his sail, and you'll notice he's going to lift the mast tip, pull the forestay line, and then the sail will go up, and you'll notice his sheet line is obviously loose. There we go. Obviously horrible trim as far as propulsion goes, and now he eases the sheet line in, and now he's going to take off and have some nice speed. Now, Liam is kind of not as advanced of a kayaker as I am, so he might fumble around a little bit, but he's doing really good. Very good, by the way. This was a day that most people decided to stay behind, and most people really weren't ready for this. Liam was definitely ready for it. So here we go. Look at his speed. Wind's coming from the side. We're not going upwind. As a matter of fact, this boat has a tendency to turn upwind. You would think that the sail will push the bow downwind, but your bow digs in, and there's a lot of lateral resistance at the front of a kayak, especially when you build up speed. By the way, you can see his sail luffing. He's just taking it easy. He's, not focusing on speed. He's, more concerned about comfort. And this is something that you would do if you're not 100% confident. And this was a big win day for Liam. This was the biggest day he's been out in, I'm sure of that. So he's just letting his sail luff a little bit. He's accepting the bubble for comfort, and his number one priority is to be comfortable and stay in control. You don't want to get overly focused on sail trim until you're feeling in control. When you're in control, take your time, look at the sail trim. One other thing I want to talk about with kayak sailing comes up all the time, and that's how people think, oh, the wind is going to push your bow downwind, or you can't go across the wind. The thing is, kayaks have a lot of lateral resistance in them. To demonstrate a kayak's lateral resistance, imagine this experiment. You have a kayak with an adult sitting in it with no wind. Give that kayak a hard push forward. If you do that, the kayak will easily coast 40 feet and probably over 50 feet. Then give this same kayak a push sideways. If you do that, the kayak will probably go about 3 or 4 feet. This shows your kayak has a lot more lateral resistance than forward resistance, which is great for sailing. More of a problem with going upwind right now, and the boat's kind of balanced. They're never in perfect balance, but this boat has a tendency to turn upwind at this weight distribution, this speed, this wind angle of attack. In any case, he's not getting his bow is not being blown downwind. So here it is, the camera from the stern of my kayak, and of course we're sailing on. Here we go, heading towards Green Island up there. Our goal is to head to an island. You can see it off in the distance there. It's a bigger, much larger island, but it's downwind, and if you can't get downwind, you can always drop your sail and slowly drift downwind, but in this case we're just enjoying a sail across the wind. So here we go. I'll make a few more points about sailing as well. You can see I'm not paddling at all. I'm doing 5, 6, 7 miles an hour, sometimes less, depends on where we're at on a wave. And but you're going to go with a sail, a good sail, you're going to go much faster than somebody will go without a good sail. And the other thing I'll mention, these kayaks are 100% normal stock sails. There's nothing on these hulls that make them any different than any other kayak out there. You don't need a lee board, you don't need a dagger board, you don't need anything. A conventional stock kayak will sail great. They all sail great. And the best kayak for kayak sailing is the kayak that you own and that you like already. The one that you want, that you have, that you're comfortable with, is going to sail great. So, and Falcon Sails can help you rig that boat as well. If you buy a Falcon Sail with the complete rigging kit, 19 out of 20 times when that box arrives, 100% of the hardware you need for an easy and solid rigging job is going to be in the box. So all you'll need are basic tools. And if you want to talk about kayak sails for your kayak, please give us a call. This is what we do. This is what we love to do. So we will be very happy to help you. And now the camera's perspective, by the way, is from my I've got a camera mounted on my head there. You can see it from some of the other camera angle views. And there we go. I'm letting my sail luff because I don't want to pass him up. I'm slowing him down a little bit because Liam is really letting his sail luff, or accepting a very large bubble. We've talked about sail trim here, and he is just, focusing more on his comfort and his control, and there's no need to get overly focused on sail trim. But you can see I have good sail trim, a little better when you see my sail. And now, okay, he just drew in his sheet line, so he should take off. I'm not going to be passing him so much. Myself as a experienced kayaker, I can't help but to trim my sail for speed, and I keep doing that. And Liam is just kind of semi-hanging on for dear life. I think he has a really nice surf coming up here. These are some nice waves. And this is Lake Erie. The water is shallow, so the waves are close together. Oh, there we go. I got hit by a whitecap. Lake Erie is just known as being a really rough
I got hit by that one.
It's because it's shallow, and it really helps advance your kayaking skills. I've had the opportunity to kayak sail all over the place in some really beautiful locations, and my experience on Lake Erie has just made me able to handle a lot of chop in difficult conditions. It's beautiful. This is the South Bass Island Rendezvous. It's always the second weekend after Memorial Day, and everybody's invited. It's just people getting together on land, but it's a lot of kayakers and in a great place to kayak and kayak sail. So look up the South Bass Rendezvous. It's always the second weekend after Memorial Day on South Bass Island, which is at the west end of Lake Erie. And there's a group of about 10 islands that you can go to and enjoy. And I mean, there's a lot about South Bass Island and the Rendezvous to enjoy. It's our regional season opener. Okay, I want to see him. Okay, he's he's surfing. He has a nice surge there. He's doing really good. But this is, I'll also say, this is not a beginner kayak sail. You can go out in much lighter conditions and enjoy yourself. Obviously, don't do this until you've become more experienced.
You know where the park is?
I've been kayaking and sailing in these waters for, well, I hate to admit it, but probably over 40 years. So
we need to get down a little more.
Yeah, we're not normal. We'll just put it to you that way. Most people go on flat, calm water.
We can go way downwind.
This is kind of ridiculous for some people, not appropriate, but we are experts. I will tell you that right now. We're expert kayakers, and so this is what we do, but you can sail anywhere you go kayaking, you can go sailing, unless it's a whitewater river. But if you're in a pond, there's a breeze, you can have a sail up, and if even a light breeze, if you're going across the wind, can really give you a nice amount of propulsion. All right, since this is a sail trim focused video, I want to point out here, look at Liam. He's letting his sail luff. He's not overly focused on sail trim, and it's definitely slowing him down. And I'm letting my sail luff too, by the way, to try and slow myself down. So just don't get overly focused on sail trim. If you're not comfortable, do what Liam's doing. It's perfect.
Lean into the waves,
bubble,
or your
even
friend.
a big bubble. Just do whatever it takes to feel comfortable. Eventually, you'll work your way up to feeling comfortable in whatever conditions you're in. And like I said, most people will just be out in more of a flat water situation, but this is regional to us. This is our area. This is what we do. No matter where you want to kayak, there's opportunities to go kayak sailing. So just go have fun, enjoy yourself, make the most of it. As I mentioned earlier, Liam is not focused on great sail trim, which is fine. That's perfect. He's out pushing his limits, and you don't want to do that. When you're pushing your limits, your number one priorities are staying in control and staying comfortable. And myself, if I were not with him, I would have my sail powered up a bit more, and I would have, I wouldn't be sticking with them. I'd be paddling more. I'd be catching waves, surfing more. I'd be going a lot faster. But in this case, I was staying with Liam. That's what us paddlers do. We stick together. And you can see there his sail's just not trimmed for maximum power. It's just trimmed for comfort and control, which is a smart thing to do. That's what Liam's doing. We're cruising along really nice now. You can see our speed. We're barely paddling. Okay, there I let the sail luff a little bit. I turned upwind too much, which is equivalent to letting the sheet line out. But notice the sails are on the verge of luffing. If you turn upwind from where you're sailing and you have good sail trim, when you turn upwind, the sail will luff. And you'll see that bubble that I've been talking about. So you want to be very close to having that bubble on your sail all the time. If you turn upwind a little bit, the bubble should form, and if you let the sheet line out a little bit, the bubble should form. It should be on the verge of forming all the time. Now, a lot of people talk about using telltales and that sort of thing. I think they're a complete and total waste, because things just happen too fast when you're kayak sailing. In the small sail, things happen. So just look at the luff, look for the bubble, make sure your sail is close to having the bubble form. You can test it by either A, letting the sheet line out, or you can test it by turning upwind a little bit. The best thing to do is let the sheet line out. You'll see the bubble form, and yeah, that was a nice little surf. And, well, here we go again. Well, not surfing quite yet, but you can see these top speeds. And the thing about kayak sailing is it's going to push you, if you have a good sail, it's going to push you faster than you can paddle. And it's just amazing fun. One thing I'll say about kayak sailing that I really like is when it's time to go surfing. That extra push makes it easier to catch a wave, and you will stay on a wave a lot longer. I know that when I go out with my friends who are paddling without a sail, we can paddle together, everything's fine with that, but there's no doubt on catching waves. I'll catch a wave before they do, and I will stay on the wave longer, and I'll look back and I'll see them way behind me. And of course I can slow down for them as well, but there's no doubt having a sail is a huge advantage in speed and fun. I can hear the Jet Express. That's a pretty good size ferry boat that's jet propelled. It's very fast, and it makes people nervous, and it makes me think about how much more visible you are when you're on the water. When you have a sail, especially a bright one, you're literally 10 times more visible. You're going to be seen much quicker, and you're not going to have that sick feeling when you see boats in the area. Sails are really nice for that. Well, I'm going to bring up something else now that we're cruising and everything looks good. When you are cruising or you're sailing and you want to figure out what your sail trim is, we've talked about this, you'll let your sheet line out until you see the bubble form and then draw it in ever so slightly, and that you'll know you're in the near ideal sail trim, or maybe even ideal. You get your maximum propulsion for minimal heeling force, so you'll let the sheet line out, you'll see the bubble form. Or another thing you can do is turn upwind. The boom is on the downwind side, so in this case I turned right and then I would see the bubble form. But I'm not doing that right now because I'm very aware of what my sail trim is and I'm not playing around with it. But as you watch this video, occasionally you would see maybe me turning upwind just a little bit, and then you'll see that bubble form. I've seen it here and there throughout the video, so that will tell you, hey, you're really close. If you turn upwind a hair, you'll see the bubble. That means you're close. And then if you turn down a little, you can get rid of the bubble, or you can get rid of the bubble by pulling the sheet line in a little bit. Well, I can tell you another thing about kayak sailing, and that is, even though you're going to win all the races and you can be the first to shore, you're going to be the last off the water every time because it's just so much fun. But still, the end of the day has to come. You can't stay out in the lake forever, unfortunately. Liam and I had a spectacular paddle sail. Now here comes the last kayak sailing lesson for the day, and that is, people seem to think when you get close to shore, it's time to lower the sail. The time to lower the sail is when the sail is not doing its job anymore, and there's a specific reason to lower it. Like right now, I'm leaving my sail up. When I hit the beach and I'm leaving it up,
here we go.
It will push me up on the beach, and when I get out of my kayak, it will help me pull it up onto the beach. And if you have a cart, it will help you push your sail on, push your kayak on the cart. So don't put your sail down. It will just get wrinkled and it won't have a chance to dry out. Leave your sail on.
All right. Okay. Come here and give me a high five. It was still pretty good. Yeah, you're pumped up.
I'm glad you made it this far into the video. I want to go over some of the main lessons and continue on with a few more pointers. If you walk away with one thing in this video, remember this. To get the best sail trim, the best place to start is releasing the sheet line slowly until you see a bubble start to form in the luff. When you see the bubble form in the luff, slowly pull the sheet line back until the bubble disappears. This will give you the maximum forward propulsion and a reasonable amount of sideways force. The next most important lesson is sail trim is not just about speed. Your first and main goal is to have comfort in your ride and maintain control. If you don't feel like you're in control, just let your sheet line out, let the sail luff and forget about it and regain your thoughts. And if that doesn't do it, go ahead and release your forestay and drop your sail and think about it, and then maybe raise your sail a little bit later when you're ready to give it another try. It's not hard to do, it doesn't take much time, and when you get good at kayak sailing, you're gonna love it, and any of your apprehensions will quickly go away. You just have to learn about what conditions you feel comfortable in, and if you're not comfortable, do these things. Release the sheet line, let it out, and if that doesn't work, like I said, with the Falcon sail, you can drop your sail and secure it to your deck 100% out of the way for complete no sail paddling anytime you want. Well, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you've discovered kayak sailing, because it is a lot of fun. I love it. It's added a complete new dimension to my kayaking, and it's replaced my long-term love for sailing. I don't need to own a big boat. I don't need to store a boat. I don't need to pay insurance. I don't need to do any of this. I just love kayak sailing. It gets me on the water and I love it. You can have a sail that is reliable, can handle anything you can handle, and you can lower it in seconds and secure it to your deck in just a few more seconds, so it's 100% out of the way, and you can do regular no sail paddling anytime you want, and then have the on-demand option of sailing anytime you want. It's really a nice setup. It's reliable, and it's a proper sail. It has the mast, the boom, the outhaul, the downhaul, the boom vang, sheet line, everything you'd ever need. You will not outgrow this rig. It can handle anything you can handle. They're very reliable. They're expedition ready, and beginners and experts want the same thing, a reliable rig that's easy to use, that has high performance, and that's what you get with the Falcon Sail. I enjoy sea kayaking, so I put a Falcon Sail on my sea kayak. No matter what kind of kayak you have, we will make a rigging kit for you. And when the wind blows, you will be sailing. It can be a sea kayak, sit-on-top kayak, recreational kayak, canoe, rowboat, or any other kind of paddle craft. One other great thing about having a Falcon Sail is one sail rig can be used on all your kayaks. It takes about 60 seconds to move a sail rig from one kayak to another kayak. You can have a sail rig exactly like you have seen in this video in a complete package that weighs in at under 3.5 pounds total weight. That includes everything: the sail, mast, boom, lines, deck hardware, fasteners, and everything. A Falcon Sail can be lowered in seconds and secured to your deck 100% out of the way in just a few more seconds. One other great thing about having a Falcon Sail is one sail rig can be used on all your kayaks. It takes about 60 seconds to move a sail rig from one kayak to another kayak. Now, the best kayak for kayak sailing is the kayak that you own and you like. I chose a sea kayak because I like the big open waters. I just happen to be a sea kayaker. If you're a person that likes the short recreational kayaks or fishing kayaks or whatever, those are great boats. Actually, the shorter, wider boats are even better. They actually make better upwind performance. They're more stable. They're easier to handle. So don't worry about what kayak I have. If you have a kayak, you're going to love kayak sailing. And if you want to get into it, Falcon Sails, we would love to help you. We can help you rig any kayak with the sail. Doesn't matter what it is. We've helped people rig thousands of kayaks, so we've seen it all. And believe me, your kayak is riggable and will sail great. On our web store, you can actually custom design a sail and pick all the colors you want, and or you can buy a stock ready to go sail that will ship the same day. And the last thing during the purchase process is we ask you what kind of kayak you have so that we can make a rigging kit that is perfect for your kayak. We have all the hardware, all the parts, and all the knowledge and everything you'll need to have a perfect rigging kit for your kayak. When the package arrives, 100% of the parts will be in the box for an easy and solid rigging job. All you need are basic tools. This is Patrick Forster with Falcon Sails, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the water.